Were you familiar with Minecraft before the film fell into your lap?
I was very familiar with it because my boys, my sons, were into the game, so I wanted to learn their language. So I learned it, yeah.
Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once, and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
The Minecraft fans owe Jack Black an apology, because after the first Minecraft trailer was posted online, everyone was so mean to Jack Black for starring as Steve that he started doubting himself. He genuinely seemed so sad.
I love the movie, but now I'm like, I don't know, let's see what everyone else thinks, because I don't trust myself anymore.
And people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Disney threw a whopping $250 million trying to give Snow White a shiny new makeover and still got outdone by a movie where the star's top talent is punching dirt. Rachel Zegler came after the original tale like it robbed her blind. Now she's watching Minecraft farm rake in box office gold like it's rare. Diamond Door.
Yes, this is exactly the backlash you're gonna get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over.
This isn't just a flop, it's a full-blown disaster. This is a full-blown cultural meltdown with popcorn on the side. But let's take a step back for a second. Disney's been spiraling into panic mode for a while now. Every remake they've pushed out lately feels less like entertainment and more like a public therapy session.
Hey kids, how are you? You may be gay, lesbian, or bisexual. You've officially crossed the line, Disney.
They're not telling stories anymore. They're working through their feelings on screen. The Little Mermaid didn't make waves. It barely stayed afloat. Peter Pan and Wendy got straight up ghosted by audiences. And then came the Snow White remake, which didn't feel like a reimagining at all. It felt more like, what if we completely ignored everything that made the original story magical in the first place? What a wild miss.
How is Snow White's rating 1.6 on IMDb? I mean, it's the first Disney movie starring a woke Colombian woman that looks like a fish.
The movie was absolutely terrible. It's not the single worst movie I've ever seen, but in every way that the movie differed from the beloved 1937 original, it was worse.
Enter Rachel Zegler, a young, talented actress who somehow took one of Disney's most beloved princess roles and turned it into a 2-hour public service announcement about how love stories are problematic and how fairy tales featuring white skin are suddenly an inconvenience. It left people stunned.
Sorry, Rachel. I guess the world isn't ready for a woke fish-like Disney princess. Maybe the problem is that we didn't make it bad enough.
Caucasian, she is a Latina, she is half Colombian, and so people were like, why were you cast in the first place? We just had a black Little Mermaid, now we're having a Latina Snow White.
And let's get something straight. The issue was never diversity. The real problem was the attitude. Rachel walked into this role like she was doing the world a favor, while throwing shade at the original film like it was some outdated relic. That rubbed people the wrong way. She rolled her eyes at Prince Charming, called the 1937 version weird.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
And flat out declared she didn't need any fans who didn't agree with her vision.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
It wasn't just bold. It came off as dismissive, and audiences definitely noticed. Ma'am, you're playing Snow White, not delivering a keynote at the BuzzFeed Feminism Summit. The press tour didn't feel like a princess promo. It felt more like a full-on girl boss rampage.
Say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
It was less fairy tale, more corporate crusade. She brushed off the original fairy tale like it was yesterday's news, even hinted the prince might be cut altogether, and made it crystal clear romance had no place and size in her version of the story.
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And
there's no prince. A woman doesn't need a prince.
Oh, Lord.
Really? Okay, good luck back then.
Basically, she handled Snow White the way a barista blasts their ex's playlist, loudly, dramatically, and with absolutely zero concern for what the rest of us actually loved about it. Then the backlash exploded. Fans weren't just irritated, they were totally baffled. If you can't stand the original story, why jump into its remake?
When you actively insult, attack, and berate your audience, however, they will turn you off.
It's like agreeing to play Batman and boldly claiming capes are for losers. What a wild contradiction. And just when it seemed like Disney might survive the chaos, South Park burst in like a wrecking ball with a sledgehammer called Into the Pandaverse. What a hit that was.
Matt, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
The special didn't just mock Disney, it tore apart the exact formula that's been choking modern entertainment, swapping real stories for lifeless checkboxes and acting like appearances alone mean progress. In the episode, Cartman is tormented by a nightmare world where every beloved character has been replaced by a woman of color who despises men.
They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
And even though the show is clearly over the top, it feels a little too real for comfort. The main villain, an AI version of Kathleen Kennedy, jumping through the multiverse, stuffing corporate feminism into every reboot she can find. Sound familiar? Disney didn't even have to be mentioned. Everyone instantly knew who the shots were fired at. Snow White, The Little Mermaid, Star Wars, Marvel. Every franchise that's been gutted for its past and sold back to us with a shiny, fake, woke makeover. But Rachel became the face of it all. Even though she never appeared in the episode, her vibe was everywhere. That smug, dismissive attitude, that unearned swagger, that whole I'm fixing the story whether you like it or not vibe.
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
It was all perfectly mocked. And just when it seemed like she might stay quiet and disappear for a while, Rachel showed up at a nearly empty theater, squad by her side, bouquet in hand, filming a TikTok like she'd just won an Oscar.
Please?
For which movie?
2 tickets, please, babe. She could have bought 24 and still had room for a yoga class in that empty place. What was meant to be a viral, look how iconic I am moment turned into a cringeworthy disaster. The poor guy at the ticket counter didn't even know what movie they came for. It felt like watching someone throw themselves a surprise party and forget to invite a single person. Meanwhile, over in Pixel Land, the Minecraft movie casually crushed Snow White like it was no big deal. A film critics called Too Childish and Too Simple made more money in one weekend than Snow White did in 3.
The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made 2.
The numbers aren't just bad, they're legendary. Minecraft didn't just take the box office, it owned it. It pulled off a full-blown heist while Snow White limped to a sad $160 million. After weeks of desperate PR stunts and endless reshoots, Minecraft came bursting through the gates with a jaw-dropping $300 million global opening.
Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening.
No scandals, no lectures, just blocks, zombies, and pure fun. Critics rolled their eyes, but the audiences? They packed those theaters like crazy. This wasn't just a win, it was a total knockout. Minecraft raked in a jaw-dropping $300 million worldwide in its opening weekend. Meanwhile, Snow White struggled to scrape together $160 million. And that was after weeks in theaters and a massive marketing budget that could have fed an entire nation. Minecraft had everything. Snow White didn't. It was actually fun, knew exactly what it was, and connected with the audience it was aiming for. It treated its fans with actual respect.
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kid's movie should be, whereas the Snow White model...
No guilt-tripping, no backhanded jabs. It didn't twist nostalgia into some sneaky way to push a political agenda. It just did what movies are supposed to do. You know what Minecraft didn't do? Preach to the audience or turn into a walking political billboard. Instead, it gave kids a wild, fun adventure, stayed loyal to the original material, and threw in Jack Black screaming into a mic like his life depended on it. That's all it took. And now it's out here, crushing Disney's hopes like a creeper on a mission with nothing to lose. Jack Black brought more energy in just 5 lines than the whole cast of Disney's Snow White combined.
Just like to sit in the back in the dark with no one watching me, just to gauge the audience and see if they laugh as hard as I do.
Theaters were buzzing. Teens showing up in suits, little kids screaming with excitement, and even the parents were genuinely laughing. It didn't feel like just a movie. It felt like a full-blown live event. It was something people wanted to experience, like they had to be part of it. Disney could never pull that off now. And here we are, a once iconic princess reduced to a warning sign. A studio that used to pump out nostalgia like magic, now bleeding credibility. Meanwhile, this quirky, blocky video game adaptation came out of nowhere and completely obliterated them without even breaking a sweat.
Minecraft movie beat Barbie to become Warner Brothers' 3rd biggest domestic debut of all time. The film came in $6 million over projections, earning 163 million in its domestic opening weekend.
Minecraft didn't have decades of Disney fairy dust behind it. What it had was pixel art, a solid script, and an audience that didn't feel talked down to. So what's the takeaway here? It's painfully simple. Respect the story, respect the fans, and for the love of everything, stay quiet during the press tour. Audiences aren't asking for the world. They're not against progress. They just don't want to be lectured while eating popcorn.
Her going, we need to no, you don't. It's not your job. Your job is to entertain. You are paid to entertain. That's what this is. Also, it's very disturbing.
People don't hate change. They just don't want to be talked down to by someone acting like they're too cool for the very movie they're promoting. If Disney had actually respected Snow White, made a few smart updates, and handed the reins to someone who genuinely cared about the original story, this thing could have been a billion-dollar smash. But instead, they blew it. Instead, we got a self-important remake dripping with lecture vibes. And now Disney's the butt of every meme. Third trending on X, and not in a good way. Meanwhile, Minecraft is out here giving kids a reason to cheer, teens a reason to suit up, and parents a reason to actually enjoy going to the movies again. It sent a loud, clear message, one Hollywood desperately needed to hear. Audiences aren't looking for propaganda. They just want to have fun, and if you give them that, they'll show up in droves. Rachel's downfall isn't just about one lousy role. It's part of a much bigger issue in Hollywood, a system that keeps acting like it can ignore the audience and still come out on top. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments. Was Rachel Zegler unfairly turned into the scapegoat? Or did she dig this hole herself, with a mic in one hand and her ego in the other? Should Disney just reboot their remakes? Or scrap the whole strategy altogether? Hope you had fun with this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. Have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one.